Welcome back to the Green Room Podcast, a community-driven show straight out of Discord where roleplayers, storytellers, and chaos makers gather to talk shop. This is the place where we pull back the curtain on the world of RP, from Red Dead Redemption's Frontier Tales to neon-lit streets of GTA Roleplay. We dive into the characters, the servers, the drama, the hilarious moments, and the craft behind immersive storytelling. The Green Room is exactly what it sounds like. The backstage lounge of roleplay, a place where creators, players, devs, and community members can relax, share experiences, swap ideas, and occasionally roast each other over the wild situations RP throws at us. Expect conversations about server stories and unforgettable moments, character building and RP philosophy, community highlights and drama, the good kind mostly, tips behind the scenes talk, and the future of RP. So whether you're a hardened outlaw from the Red Dead frontier, a city veteran from GTA, or someone curious about stepping into the RP world for the first time, pull up a chair. The mic's live, the community's here, and the curtain's about to rise. Welcome to the Green Room Podcast. I am your host, Clusty, and I am joined today by my co-host, SERUKKA. Say hello, SERUKKA.
Hello, and congratulations on doing that in one go.
Thank you very much. That was flawless. And also, ladies and gentlemen, today we are joined by another very special guest for the third episode. We have another guest. Round of applause for us, and welcome Mr. Duff to the Green Room Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to give him a round of applause. Woo!
Wagwan, how's it going?
Thank you very much, Duff, for coming on. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Right, so first off, we are going to get into the news. What we need to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the brand new news that's happened recently. That is Grand Theft Auto 6. So first off, I'm going to just play the most recent video released from Rockstar, and then we're going to go into some of the news and discuss. Now, I'm not going to lie. Just to start off with, I was really fucking disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you about the lack of trailer that there actually was.
I'm so confused. I thought there was technical difficulties. I can't hear nothing. What's going on? Like, I was in full screen and I came out. What's going on? Was that it?
The reason we're not hearing anything is because Clusty hears it, but we don't because of OBS. There would be, it's just we didn't hear it. But yeah, it was a fucking ball buster. That was. I saw that video pop up. I'm clicking it super fast, and then it's like just a fucking showcase of the fucking.
So you didn't hear any of the music that came through there?
No, but I did see OBS pick it up though.
Okay, yeah, OBS will, because I listened to it. No, it's
but
fine.
It was just like okay, so there was no right.
So yeah,
it wasn't much of a video, was it?
No, exactly. So that's the announcement trailer for the pre-orders, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure at this point everyone is aware. I think the latest statistics were, ladies and gentlemen, that they have made $4 billion in pre-sale. $4 billion. And the game's not even out. Which is absolutely crazy. Now, I don't know if you've been aware of this, but recently there has been some controversy over the price and the packages that come with said price. Okay, so for those people that are unaware, that live under a rock somewhere, the base game standard edition costs $79.99. That's €79.99 euros for people like SERUKKA, and that is $69.99 for people like me and Duff, I would imagine. And with that, you don't really get much other than the actual game. You know, like a game that's been in the making for 15 years, right? Probably the most advanced game with the best graphics out there, I would imagine. Probably better than Red Dead, which would be the closest, I would imagine, at this point. But the Ultimate Edition, which gives you a load of bonus extra content, sales for $99.99, €99.99, and £89.99. And with that, you get a load of extra stuff for the pre-order bonuses. So you'll get the Vintage Vice City pack, which you get with the standard edition, but also you receive a car and unlock different shops throughout the single player mode. Now, obviously, everyone is complaining that, you know, you basically pay like $100 for a game, or you pay $80, sorry, for a base standard game, and you don't get this all-inclusive extra content. Now, as far as I'm aware, and I've actually seen some recent reports from common sense folk, I would call them, is that if you were to order a movie standard edition, you would get some content, but if you were to order the deluxe edition of that said film, you might get like behind the scenes interviews and like deleted scenes and such, you know, like as far back as time, basically, there's always been the idea of having a standard edition and then a premium edition with extra content for those people that invest that extra. Now, please bear in mind as well, guys, if you're willing to pay $80 for a fucking game, you're probably willing to spend $100 on that said game. For the extra $20, which, let's be honest, is one Fatso's Chipotle order. What's the issue? Come on, like realistically, knowing the
I don't see an issue with it. I mean, it's like just adding extras, like you say, with extras like for a movie and stuff. Like you get that with DVDs and Blu-rays. It's kind of a standard thing when the movie comes out on like a disc you can buy. So I don't see the problem with it. I mean, is those features also unlockable just through playing the game?
No. So the basis of it is that there's an extra. You get like a personal motorbike, I think, a bar, and like a different barber and a different car shop, right? And maybe like a different armory where you can store your weapons, because they're following the Red Dead Redemption, that you have a wheel, but you can only carry a reasonable amount of weapons, not an unlimited amount of weapons, right?
Right.
But you are able to have those things. Those things exist for the standard edition. It's just not those specific ones, right? So there are going to be clothing stores. There's going to be barber shops. You just miss out on one, or an extra one. You know what I mean?
And I don't different hairstyles. And also, I think I read in there like they were talking about some sort of pawn shop or something. But that is the question, though. Like, is it confirmed that this is just a shop extra, or is it literally locking certain things behind that extra paywall?
No, it's 100%. It is. They exist in the game currently in the standard edition. These are added extras for pre-order. Just for example, there are over 700 enterable shops and locations, including nightclubs, motels, restaurants, pawn shops, fully explorable malls, skyscrapers, fast food joints, gun stores, and Vice City metro system. Like, it's ridiculous that the narrative is that if you don't pre-order, you don't have access to a clothing store. Of course there's going to be a clothing store. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's going to be loads of them.
Yes.
Is it going to be like exclusive? Is it going to be exclusive items in there? Or,
yes. So like the idea is that the shop would host items that you just wouldn't have in the game, right? But it's I think
so. It's cosmetic bullshit. So
yes, it's a microtransaction.
It's fluff.
It's a micro.
It's fluff.
It's a micro, right? So at the end of the day, if you want it, go and spend the extra $20. Like for me, I'm not even going to purchase the game until it's out on PC, because I think I don't want to spend 500. And apparently as well, just to have a real kicker, Xboxes and PlayStations have both increased in price, ironically. So they've gone from their base price of like $500 and they're going upwards because of they know the release of GTA is going to increase sales. So
I wonder if instead of, because you remember people were complaining of when they started releasing news about the price tag last year, people were shit in the bed then. And
Mm.
then people are like, they're still going to buy it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I wonder, because people are probably viewing this like, oh, have hidden in some content to get more money out of us. Or look at it this way, they've taken a little bit of content out that's completely inconsequential to your enjoyment of the game to make it cheaper for you because you bitched about it last year.
Exactly. And that
You
is
know?
literally playing devil's advocate, right? Thinking of it, is the glass half full, or is it half empty? And that is the
Yeah.
perspective that I had. Maybe the base game, maybe the whole thing, like the standard edition, was $100, right? And then all they've done is just gone, you know what? Just for those people, those certain types of people that are definitely going to complain about it, they handpicked a bit of the content out of it and said, and then just took it away from a like a lesser amount version, just to kind of like say, look, our base game is like $70. It's the same price as fucking Call of Duty, you know, and that gives you like the single player gives you 10 hours of content. It's the multiplayer that gives you maybe 3 weeks of content before you're bored. And I genuinely think this, and I can say this hand on heart, that Rockstar have produced a game worth $100, and it is worth $100 because the roleplay and the things and the online that are going to come from that are literally going to change the direction of roleplay and will give content for decades. So if you're not willing to pay $100 for a game that you could play theoretically for decades, there's something wrong with you, right? $10 a year for the next 10 years, is that enough value for a person, for a human being, for a game like this? I mean, it's going to be insane, in my personal opinion. But
I get what you're saying there, but like initially when I did see it, I did think like, what does this entail for the future of the game, right? Like, are they gonna keep doing that, keep adding stuff? I don't know. Like in the other editions, you kind of bought the game, you had the game, right? And they never really added much more to it except for the online. But like, does this mean they'll like periodically add like a bunch of DLCs that are cosmetic and stuff, which is fine, I guess. It is the new way companies make money. I think people are a bit fearful of that, maybe. You know, Rockstar shaking their pockets every couple of months, you know?
um, from my perspective, I don't think there will be much single player DLC other than the release of online. And how they the one question I'm unsure about, and I think there's only like a handful of people and the Rockstar employees, and outside of that probably a handful of roleplay servers, on how they're actually going to be implementing the online and how RP is going to spearhead some of that. I generally don't think, like, I imagine they will still have online, and then your microtransactions are going to run there, right? For people that are willing to pay for those kind of things. I think that is going to work very similar, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. They were still making $12 million a month from GTA Online right now. Currently, right now, 13 years after the release of GTA Online.
It's crazy cash cow.
Yeah. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. Maybe just improve upon it and make sure, you know.
I mean, I think the game that we're going to be getting is easily worth it. When you think of what GTA 5 looks like and feels like to play now, after how many years you just said, you know, the upgrade we're going to get for 100, you know, is not a lot. Like, it cost me 20 pounds for a pack of cigarettes.
Exactly.
In fact, nearly £30 for a pouch of tobacco.
I know.
Like, £100 is not a lot of money in this economy. That's
you spent that in an
decent.
evening going out with your wife or something, right? Like,
Yeah, that's a nice meal.
yeah.
You know what I mean? For two.
I spent £50 today before 10 a.m. I went and bought a lock for my front door and some grout for my kitchen. Fuck me, right?
I spent £1,000 today on paying for the house and everything, and shopping and everything, dude. So,
oh well.
Yeah. So I mean, £100 is rather reasonable,
Yeah.
I'd say. I understand the trepidation, SERUKKA, and I know you're playing devil's advocate because you want other people to have that, like, that question of like, is there worry? Should we worry? I mean, everyone has a right to worry as to whether or not there is going to be microtransactions towards the single player. And, you know, they probably maybe something skin related, clothing brands and other such. But I think for the most part, the microtransactions will fall upon GTA Online because that is the biggest cash cow for them currently. But yeah, so GTA 6 will be released in November. It looks like there is not going to be any delays whatsoever. I think having 2 years worth of
Christmas.
2 years of delay is probably enough, right?
Little side note, I googled how long it took between PC release and PlayStation release for GTA 5, and it was over 500 days. Let's hope it's not this long.
Yeah, it was a year. It was over a year, 100%.
Was it on a year? Okay.
It was. I believe they released in November, and it was the following October that PC.
And then can you
another year for online?
Can you do how long it took GTA 5 between GTA 5 release and then GTA Online? You want to do that research?
I think it was a year.
Yeah, I think it was. Because everyone is speculating like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I believe in order for GTA Online to come out, the PC version would need to come out. So I don't think it's going to be as quick as people may think.
So actually, yeah. So September was when it came out on PC, 2013, 17th, and it online released the 1st of October, 2013.
After the PC release, even then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was after the PC. It didn't come out until PC had released.
There we go. So hopefully, fingers bloody crossed that rather than waiting a year for the release, they release it on, I believe, maybe Rockstar's birthday, which is in May. Like the inception of Rockstar. They always used to tend to tease that they were always going to release games in May, or they would release their first trailer in May, weirdly around my birthday. So let's hope that they release in November and then release in May in turn, for a spring summer release, so the PC guys aren't waiting too long, and then they can have, they can make mass amounts of money from all the PC players, because that's everyone's waiting for RP after they've burnt through the game, you know.
Yeah, which is going to be with Rome, right? Like the new fucking modding, the new modding tool there.
Yeah. And that is going to be the basis of all RP servers. And I know No Pixels spearheading, they're the top of the pyramid, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know where Prodigy falls upon this, but I know they've been working heavily with CFX recently and have been for however long. Yeah. Also, I wanted to let you know that I had something.
By the way, Reddit thinks it'll release February 27.
Well, let's hope.
I don't think it'd be that soon. What, for the online or for PC?
For PC.
I mean, that's very soon, right? People spend.
It's like 4 months.
People will kick up a fuss, right? They'll go, I've just spent $600 on a PC or on a PlayStation 5 Pro, $100 on a game, and then you're gonna go release for 4 months later for the thing that they want it on originally. I don't know. 6 months to a year, I think, is a feasible amount of time, but who knows? Who knows? Reddit might be right. So one thing that I wanted to point out that maybe other people didn't realize, but with the cars and such within GTA 6, they have been redesigned. Okay, so little things that people may not realize is that the paneling, it's all individual panels that have been added to the cars, so that cars actually have a depth to them when it comes to the paneling. Now, this is crazy sort of attention to detail, but in GTA 5, for example, where a door meets the front fender or the side whatever, or the side door meets the back door when it's closed, it's actually just like a flat surface, So they put shadow on the surface to make it look like it's defined. But now each panel is a panel in itself on every single car, and every bolt is a bolt in a light. It goes like the attention to detail has gone above and beyond in terms of like the tiniest nooks and crannies. So yeah,
it seems like they've gone the route of replicating the damage they had in GTA 4. The damage to vehicles in GTA 4 was really good, and then it went away in 5. So it looks like they've gone back to it, but with even more gusto with the technology they got.
And customization, probably, right? Being able to change every individual part of the car.
Exactly,
imagine what that does for a role-play mechanic. If they can make a script where you can fucking like repair panels and and like literally replace parts like that, that is going to make so much in-depth role-play for.
So I think a lot of the inspiration for some of the attention to details, it has probably come from RP servers, and like knowing that, like, for example, like they've added fishing and all these other things, but most of this shit has come from RP servers because it already exists in 5M. Like real-time car mirrors, accurate display accurate reflections added to immersion. Vehicle interiors are highly detailed, featuring interactive pedals, adjustable steering wheels, rear-view mirrors, armrest seats, and sun visors. Sorry, vehicles can be purchased through car dealerships, showrooms, blah blah blah. But yeah, so I think generally a lot of the stuff, the customization, you go to a garage now or Benny's in GTA, people actually have each individual physical car part. I can say this about Prodigy, and it was the same for No Pixel when we was on there. They have individual car parts that they need to add to the car. Now with GTA 6 and knowing their guys, they'll probably have winches that you lower a fucking engine into the fucking car, and maybe like in the roleplay scene, it'll make it way more sort of immersive and interactive in terms of what their capabilities are.
Well, I think they definitely kept it in mind, right? The scripts are gonna kind of be there already, right? Like instead of having to write it from scratch, it's gonna be there already to be used.
Which is a beautiful thing that Rockstar were willing to do that, and they saw. I'm so glad that they saw the market for it, because everyone, like you sent for a video about the death of 5M, right? And CFX, but it's like I feel like they want that community. They just would like it on a better system that they control more of. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and let's be honest. I mean, they do want control of it, right? But it does show that they're generally interested in maintaining that community and trying to do something with it, which is good.
Yeah, but I'm super hyped and super excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. Are you both buying it on? Have you both pre-ordered it, or are you both buying it on release, or what's happening?
I'm actually curious, Duff. Do you have an Xbox or PlayStation?
I do not. I have not owned a console since probably the 90s, actually.
Is it a game where you would buy a console for?
No, probably not. I'd have to buy a TV as well.
But initially, I did want to like buy a PlayStation and then buy the game, but that's fucking. We're talking about €1,000 here. You know, that's not a small amount for one game I'm gonna play and then never gonna touch that console again. You know.
Yeah. No, I'll wait for it to come out on PC.
Yeah, it's just gonna be so long. It's gonna be hard to avoid any spoilers and what have you.
Just for added throwback, these weapons are the custom weapons that you receive upon the Ultimate Edition, and the date that is associated, or the serial number of this Python, which is a throwback to Vice City, which was one of the weapons that Tommy had in the original Vice City. It is 211. Like 00 something. 2101. I think the date it refers to basically the release date of Vice City Stories on Jason's, and then on Lucia's it is the release date of the original Vice City for the serial number. So a little throwback on the weapons, but like you can see some of these are the custom weapons and the custom outfits and the custom hairdos. Now There's definition in their fucking hair and clothes and all sorts. But I mean, a lot of these are like in game photos, but like I can't help but feel like some of them are just like actual like drawings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of got the same feeling.
Digital painting.
Yeah. So this is going to be the car that's going to be Jason's bog standard car. So with the standard edition and the premium edition, you'll have this. The bike is part of the premium edition, and I believe the kayak. But I swear you must be able to get a kayak regardless, because I think there is.
I mean, you just rob someone. It's GTA.
Yeah.
You just gotta rob someone for it. I gotta say that switchblade on the first slide looked amazing. I did like the switchblade.
Yeah.
That's a nice bike. As a bikie myself, I like that.
There's your 20-pound kayak.
So the yeah, your 20-pound kayak.
That looks good.
So you can see the definition, but yeah, all this is all paneled. I don't know. Does it not look really big in that car? Like, it just seems off to me. Something seems really off with these photos. When I was looking on the Rockstar website, when they showcased it, it just seemed a bit off. I don't know.
Some of the pictures do, kind of the same feeling. That it's not like in game strictly. It's something like altered somehow, right?
Yeah. So yeah, here you can see the jack stands and underneath the car. Fixing of the car. That's kind of
especially the size of the guy standing next to that car there. The perspective's all fucking wonky, isn't it?
Yeah, it does seem just a bit off. But this is something that's been implemented. The jack stands, like especially, have been recently implemented in the Prodigy RP. So I think a lot of this stuff, a lot of 5M users will have already seen potentially, but just maybe it's more refined for the GTA 6 experience.
Makes me kind of ask the question, right? Which I think they will, if they'll lean a lot more into that Red Dead experience of like truly living in that world instead of going from mission to mission.
Oh, okay. So that's the point that I was going to make, is that it has been told, now whether this is just rumor or not, but it has been told that it is going to be a chapter-based system exactly the same as Red Dead Redemption. So yeah. And then obviously little things of like the beard and hair growth that Arthur would experience is the same for these guys. Here you can see.
Does that mean we're gonna have to shave her armpits and her legs, man? What the fuck?
She'll just end up.
Could you imagine?
Just a beard. That would be hilarious. So it looks like there's going to be deep sea diving and everything, and from these images,
I'll make a statement right now. If I want my Lucia to be hairy, I want that option. Okay.
Absolutely.
These are some of the haircuts that are in the premium edition. Now, you know, if you care about having a little bit more of a vast array of sort of like trendy mullets, then by all means spend that extra $20.
That's more of a fucking 2000s mullet than an 80s mullet. Let's be fair. But...
yeah, I mean it's the trendy mullet these days, right? But and then there's another like gang warehouse supplies, I think, and then there's a lot of customization on the Canis and stuff. You can see even how detailed it is in the reflection that people keep pointing out. But again, these images seem fake to me, unless it's like a Rockstar editor photo within the game. Do you know what I mean? Where they've altered it somewhat with a filter or some shit. Here's some more of the premium merch that you get. I mean,
are we getting the editor in GTA 6?
I would imagine so. I would imagine so.
Oh.
But I mean, this $20 worth of merch? I don't know. I don't really know. But I guess like if you want the car, if you want this specific car, then go ahead.
It's a nice car.
Yeah, it's the
and
cheetah.
It's also I also read was it on the website or elsewhere? You don't unlock it straight away, right? It's unlocked through story, all of it, right?
I don't think so.
I read that. No, I thought I read that. That like you unlock things progressively. You don't just all get it in your garage the minute.
Oh no. So like even what? So you're saying if you buy the premium edition, it's unlocked through the story mode?
Yeah,
The stuff that you get for, like, so you don't even start with this stuff?
Yeah, maybe for story perspective, that's how it's got to be. Because you start poor, you don't want to start with like 5 cars in your garage, right?
But as
I think I'm
extra
pretty sure I read
missions
that.
for you to get the stuff you paid extra money for.
That's even crazy. That's actually crazy that you say that.
I fucking respect it. I respect it so much.
They hustling. They hustling.
Hustling. Exactly. GTA, man, they just gone up and robbed us.
Yeah. I mean,
of our expectation and everything.
The crazy thing is, like, you get like this pre-order bonus, but like, I'm curious whether they're gonna redo the pre-order bonus for the PC people that, or is it just gonna
that too?
Or what have you? But regardless, I will pay the most amount of money for that version for the PC, regardless. But yeah, so that's my news section for GTA 6, and now we can move on to you, SERUKKA, and you can take the microphone and run the next part of the show, because I've been talking way too much.
Yes, sir. So, DUFF, you're our guest this evening.
Thank you.
We met on Ranch Roleplay. You've been popping in my streams, popped in the Discord here, and I know you got a few things to say about roleplay. So, let's jump into some questions if you're up for it.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
Alrighty, let me get him. All right. My first question is to you, to maybe address yourself to the audience. What first got you into roleplay?
My first role-playing experience was in my late teens, in the late 90s. Was live action roleplay, LARPing with a bunch of my friends. Dragged into a field, painted green, and pretended to be a goblin, and got extremely pissed on me. That was my introduction to roleplay. Moved on to
old school. Wow.
Yeah, real old school. Did that for about 3-4 years into my early 20s. We picked up, tabletop as well, D&D and Vampire Masquerade, Werewolf Apocalypse, a whole fucking load of different systems we played. Then I suppose I got into role playing on the computer around, I would say, 07, 08. Which is when San Andreas multiplayer for GTA San Andreas was picking up. There's lots of modded servers and roleplay servers, and I kind of just found that, and it was all text-based. So I did that for a long ass time, good 5-6 years. Did some roleplay DayZ in the mod before the standalone was brought out. There was lots of armor reforger type things, so I did a bit of that. Then GTA 5 came out. Obviously, 5M came out before VoIP. It was text-based. I got into doing that as well. So I played a whole bunch of GTA servers for a long time. Bit of DayZ, and then, of course, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead came out. Absolutely fell in love with the first game. Played it with my friend on his PlayStation. Then, obviously, got into Red M. I've been doing Red M since about 2022. I think, yeah, around that time. Started out in New Valley, did Gold Rush, did Ranch, joined Ranch back in 2022, in fact. Done a whole bunch of servers. So, yeah, I've done a lot of roleplay.
Yeah, that is quite a bit of roleplay. Decades, Steve. Jesus.
Can I just ask one question out of all of that? What character did you play on Gold Rush, may I
ask? Wilfred McDuff, Willie. I was a lieutenant in Blackwater, PD, whatever they were called, MSO back then.
Yeah,
MSO?
Yeah, it would have been Wesso, right?
I was under Jack Daniels, and what was the guy's name? Another guy in charge. Nick. Nick was a dude. Yeah.
What was the version that you were playing? What server version was it? 1.0, 2.0?
That was before the big wipe they did at the Christmas. I played right up until the wipe, and then when the wipe happened, I went over to a server called Gilded, and I played there for.
So that was 3.0?
6 months.
3.0.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
We may have crossed paths potentially. That's
absolutely
probably why.
I recognise your voice. Did you used to play a game that had the Cobra bands on the hats?
No, but we did. We used to in 3.0. I think was the beginning was Desperados. I think.
Rings a bell.
And they were in they had the one piece outfit armor on, but that was claret and grey. They were out of Limpany. I think that was 3.0. I can't even remember. No, it might not even been. And then the Bishops towards the end of 3.0, which were based out of the little town, the little dead town, outside Rhodes and Saint Denis. And they used to wear white. You know where the everyone died of the plague. I can't remember what the name of the town is now. I haven't played in a while. But yeah, sorry. I'll shut up again. You can carry on your questions. That's funny.
Yeah, you're fine.
I didn't realize you played Gold Rush.
Yeah, Gold Rush. Pretty much most of them.
Yeah, I think we might have missed each other too. Then I think it's 3.0 I played. But regardless, though, I do want to use that to go into another question, which is as far as our character is concerned, we only interacted on Woodridge, right?
That's correct. Hang on. Wait. You might have met my Australian fella that was with Rip's crew.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because obviously right now, I got involved in like this very long-term Krim storyline, but I know you have multiple characters. Like, what kind of characters do you enjoy playing? Do you always go for like these one-off characters who have like, a certain very specific aspect about them, like Woodridge had, being the drunkard in Saint Denis, or do you also enjoy like more long-term characters that require a lot more commitment to be played?
Well, my way of creating characters has changed a lot since I started in Red M. I very much reevaluated how I play in the last year to 8 months, I would say. My first character was pretty much, they call them self-inserts. Where you kind of all of your character's alignments are along with what you want out of what you're doing. Maybe there's not so much depth to the character; it's just something you play. I got into the point where I wanted to start making characters so I could try doing voices, because I've always been sort of someone who, when I get drunk, making impressions of text from films and stuff like that. So I've always been able to sort of impersonate some voices, but I wanted to make up my own. So I try to make things that are interesting, but a lot of the time I kind of wing it. Like Woodridge was kind of created by my wife. So I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to do. I'd come back to Ranch, having left last year. I was playing a lawman, and it was a really intense story to be involved with. It was me and Wolfie and Boots, and there was a lot of shit that went down, and it was really stressful for my character. So I roleplayed it stressful for him, and it kind of burnt him out to the point where I kind of took Christmas off. I was like, that was really intense. Like from sort of August until October was a real intense 2 months that really drained me. So I wanted to make sure I separated myself more from my characters. Still didn't play the self. So I didn't react. I don't react in the same way my character does. Like my character will react naturally, and I don't feel it naturally. So when I made Woodridge, I didn't really have any plans. I didn't really have any ideas. I was like, I'm just going to play a drunk. I'm just going to wander around and play a civilian drunk. I'm not going to ride. I'm not going to have a gun. I'm just going to be really one-dimensional and be a background character, and just going to be a background character for as much as I can be, because I like to people watch. I like to blend in as locals. Like I'll be the first person to not be wearing not be wearing a long arm or a gun belt. Like especially with the addition of the local clothes, I love to blend in and pretend to be a local. Like I've had so many people who just fucking walk past me all the time because they have no idea that I'm actually a player.
Is that not how you? Yeah, go ahead.
So with Woodridge, I kind of just wanted to play a background character. So I made him. I just went in the creator, and I made him up. I turned around to my wife and I said, "Name my character." and she just spat out Ebenezer Woodridge, and I was like, "What? Ebenezer Woodridge? It's a bit of a mouthful, you know." And I was really struggling with the Woodridge. It's a really hard, like, I got a tongue tie, so I struggle with like words that I have to really purse my lips for. So when I give like Woodridge, I really get like into the word. And I kind of sounded like I was drunk when I was saying it. I was like, Woodridge, Woodridge, Woodridge. And that is literally how he became who he was. Like, the voice developed from me not being able to pronounce his fucking last name.
Yeah.
And I hated the first name. I absolutely hated it. I was like, I hate Ebenezer. I got to pick something else. And I went, hang on, no, that's brilliant. Not everyone likes their first name. It's a given name, isn't it? So he never let anyone call him like Ebenezer. It was always Woodridge or Captain Woodridge, wasn't it? It was never Ebenezer. So he was completely and another thing about him, he was a bit of a psyop on myself. I wanted to get into the mind of an addict, in the sense that I wanted to see how people react to someone that I was hoping that people would, you know, get to like Woodridge, care about him, realize that he's really making himself unwell, and try and intervene. Like, that was the goal, is for someone to try and sober him up. Interestingly, the first time he got to about 2 weeks and he was doing really, 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 really well, and then he bumped into Clem. Clem was the start of his first downfall. That was quite funny. So, but yeah, it was a bit of a psyop basically on myself, just to see addiction from a certain side, like from the protagonist side, because, you know, it's like it's an interesting thing to me, like when people have dependencies on things, and like I don't think anyone ever role plays it to the full extent.
Yeah, not to
that
the
it
degree
affects your actual life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll like role play a cocaine addict or an opium addict,
Yeah.
but not the way you did it. That's true.
The Woodridge was always drinking. He was always drunk. He was always walking in the slow drunk animation. I bought myself a foot pedal so that I could just sit there and hold it, so that it was W, so I didn't have to sit there holding W, so I could just walk around Sandony and steer with my mouse and do other things and roll the smoke or stuff like that. And I went full like into Woodridge just being a background character, and I did get a lot out of him. A lot of people did care for him. I think one person might have left the server because of him. I'm not going to say who, but someone who was involved with him at one point and that was a friend of his. They kind of stopped playing, and it was at a very tumultuous climax in his addiction recovery story, where he failed, and it was where I kind of got the outcome I was looking for with what I said, that the psyop, in the sense that I realized with the whole addiction thing, why someone would choose to relapse is because the disappointment you get when you continuously fail is a lot easier than the disappointment you get when you succeed for a small amount of time and then inevitably fail. You know, you put in all that hard work and get somewhere, and then when you fuck up, it disappears. Like, the support disappears because they're like, I'm done supporting you. And it's very interesting. It's why I'm reluctant to bring Woodridge back, because I'm like, where do I go from here with him? He's been
and the only support he would have gotten was from like bad friends, right? Like, you know, giving him alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, and a few people, like a lot of the people, like of course Jesse went off with you guys. He was a close friend of Woodridge's. See, Woodridge's is such a fucking fuck of a name to say. And Abernathy, fuck knows if he still plays. I have no idea if he still owes a Red Room, does he? Or
he does pop in now and then.
I bet I still got keys for that bitch too. So yeah, I like to. I definitely went from playing just, you know, a game to role playing. Do you know what I mean? I think Woodridge is one of my favorite characters. I've got a lot of other characters I did over the last 4 years in Red M, especially. But I think Woodridge is one of my greatest achievements as a character to play for myself. I feel like I push myself Do you know what I mean? And I think I committed to the bit as well.
And it paid off. But that would
Yeah.
have stood out, that character then, as like your crowning achievement, I suppose.
I would say so. Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. He's I've got other characters that I love as well, and I really enjoy playing, and some of them are still active. Some of them are fairly new. In fact, one that I when Woodridge was kind of retired, I went onto the medieval server, and I created a character that's kind of got a similar voice.
Before you dig into that, though, that's kind of my next question I wanted to ask you. Why, like, suddenly medieval RP? I know you're way into that now, but why that one over Red Dead? Right? What is it that appeals to a lot of people, or to you personally? Why does medieval have such a large following?
I don't know. Obviously, D&D and fantasy's got a very heavy medieval aspect to it, when it's armor and swords and battles and all that sort of thing. The medieval server, I joined because I was really curious to see what they could actually do with it. I was like, oh, okay, you're going to make a cowboy game into a medieval game. I'd like to see that. So I popped along to see what it was. And they did a really good job, but it wasn't quite medieval. Like, not enough. It doesn't feel medieval. It feels medieval fantasy. Do you know what I mean? It's not full medieval. It's not like the Kingdom Come thing where you see, people transporting the buckets of shit up the hill, emptying the latrines and stuff like that. Like, there's no real grit to it. It's very polished. It was good though. I did enjoy my time on medieval. I played there for about 12 weeks, I would say, until the story arc kind of concluded. I had a really fucking good time on that character. That was good fun.
Now I'll drag us into like a different line of questioning, because something that like interests me, right? Like, I watch a lot of streams at work, for example, but I'd like to pick your brain as well. When you're playing a character versus when you're watching a character, right? What do you say the biggest difference is? Do you notice things that you might not notice when you're playing? Because when I'm watching, I often feel like it's like armchair gaming, right? You're like, oh, maybe they should have done this better, or this should have changed, or oh, they don't see this, or do you see that? Maybe your experience.
I had a thought today watching your stream. This very scene that's on the clip right now. I had a thought, and I mentioned something in chat, and someone said, "What?" And I said, "I'm not going to say it because I don't want to put a thought into your head that you might not have naturally, or Clay might not have naturally." But now that your stream is over and I saw the end of it, and you are actually in SERUKKA, I can say what I was going to say. Was I suspected that Yanni wasn't actually in SERUKKA, and they were baiting you to get yourself locked up so that you were fucked. That's what I thought they were doing. And when he smirked and you got mad at him and you were like, I'm going to hand myself in, he was like, I fucking played him. And I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. He's baiting you into put yourself in SERUKKA. And I thought that was what the plan was. And I thought you were going to get to SERUKKA and fucking Yanni wasn't going to be there. But he was. So, yeah, it's interesting. The thought process, I don't know. Yeah. I think you do get the advantage of being the audience. You're relaxed. You're not having to think and process the answer. I don't have to think what you're going to say next because I'm watching you. Whereas when as you know, when you're in the scene and you've got to process what you're going to say next, you're like, right, you need to. Sometimes you need to force it. Sometimes it comes naturally. It depends on the scene and what you need to get across. Sometimes you need to turn a scene around and talks, like in this scene, you did need to sort of shout him down a bit because he was just not having any of it. Even Clyde didn't convince him. So, yeah, I think you do get an advantage to see it from an outside point. When you're
sorry, go on.
No, but when you're the person who's got to do the thinking, it is a lot harder. And I think afterwards, when you get on the outside of it, you're like, oh fuck, I don't even remember what I said now, because it was kind of like it's in the moment, and it's.
I do feel like to keep a conversation flowing and for a scene to keep flowing, you have to kind of make the initial decision to your first thought in that scene is going to be what you kind of say, right? So the first thing you think of, whereas someone who can sit back, relax, like you say, has the option to think outside of the box and how they would potentially respond, as opposed to Like you can't just sit there for 5 minutes in silence. Well, while silence sometimes can add to a scene, for the most part, to keep a conversation flowing and the scene to be dramatic or intense in ways, you kind of just it's like almost automated response in the best way that you can with the character parameters that you've created for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Specifically
And
with
there's also
Clem,
the
because he's
way,
a special kind of character, right? So he thinks in a specific type of way and has gradually
right.
expanded the way that he thinks as a character, from my understanding, anyway.
He's always wanted to achieve more, and the more he's achieved, he wants more. That's the thing with Clem. He's like a snowball. The bigger he gets, the more he wants. He's a big greedy man. I love him.
Which
More success.
which kind of brings me into like the other question then, because I know you've been, you watched me before with this storyline. You seem to be a bit more engaged, right? And since you're a viewer, I can answer this question for myself, but I want to ask it to you. What makes a story memorable? What makes it worth watching? Like I, for example, was really invested in Draft Rory's the Judge storyline, for example. I like the heavy intensity of it, the darkness of it. What draws you into a character or into a story?
Um, I think this story in particular, your one, I like the fact that there's becoming a clear divide, and that you're all standing on the side of the fence, and there's a divide, and like you disagree, and there's like a group on each side disagreeing, and you guys are like letting it play out. I think 2-3 years ago, a lot of groups, when that would happen, internal conflict, I don't think it would happen from a story point of view. I think it'd come from a,
An
a different point of
OIC,
view, and I think
an OIC point of view.
yeah, and I think a lot of the gun violence happens because of that. I think the thing that makes it so engaging is it is a story that is playing out realistically. You guys are a family, and yeah, you fucking do disagree, and yeah, you're gonna sort it out, but you're not gonna be hasty. Like there are times when yes, was it yesterday when he pulled a shotgun out in the cabin? I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was yesterday. Yeah.
like I was like, ooh, but I don't know him very well, so I don't know that character extremely well. So I'm like, I don't know if that's off the chart for him, but I like the way that Clem was ready. As soon as it escalated, we're like, okay, we're going to the next step. And I think the thing that makes it more engaging, the most for me as a viewer, is the fact that you guys are playing your parts together. You're building the story together. Like there's a underlying understanding, of a real
To-
slow burn. People always say, "Oh, you got to do slow burn. You got to do slow burn." And honestly, so many people do not do slow burn. They get to a certain
Well,
point and then they
not
react.
not only not
Whereas,
only that, right? Like the thing that I think makes it fun for me now is trusting the people you're with to do that,
exactly,
and like you can escalate, and trusting the other role player to know that okay, they're just making a cool scene here. Like I think trust is a very something I learned with this crew is learning to trust the person in front of you to help you make a better scene, right? Trusting other role players is
yeah,
such a fun and refreshing thing to have.
yeah. It's the whole yes and motto. Someone poses something or rebukes you in some way. You go, okay. So what if that is the case? Or you don't go, no, I'm right, you're wrong. You don't shout each other down. And I noticed a lot of things in the scenes that like this that are playing now. You guys were arguing, and there were times where you were shouting each other down, and then you weren't shouting each other down, and you were hearing each other out, and it did play like a natural, because it was a natural argument. It's not fucking scripted, but you guys have got to the point where you've got such a chemistry that it could almost be scripted. It's very well done. Like the
Would you
scenes
say?
today in the fort were
But
great.
then maybe let's dive deeper into that, right? Because
Hmm.
to the bottom of the question, is it the interaction between the characters that draws you in, or just the story itself that draws you in? That's kind of like what I'm trying to get at.
I think it's how the characters interact with the story that goes on around them. Because you've got this dichotomy that kind of started all this, where you're the day shift and they're the night shift, and that fueled some of the frustrations for Clem, which was good. That was him reacting to the situations and story, and fueled paranoia. And then all these things got played out by Christie, and he made his play and did the thing. And the way everyone's reacted to like life was kind of the normal life of going around selling here, putting your bottles out, you know, doing your thing, getting your cook on, like getting more. The way you kind of rose up and got more responsibility was really good. I really enjoyed the way that Clem developed as he was, because when I last played with you, I actually played. I think you were kind of only just starting to join the Lavelles. It was like March, early March,
Yeah,
maybe. So it's
yeah,
a
something like
long
that.
ass time ago. Um, and I just like the way that people push back against each other. There's a lot of pushback. Like you had everything sorted with Yanni the other day, and you woke up today and he sent fucking 3 crazy written things. I've gone to jail. You should all go to jail. You're like, what the fuck? And I like you're. It's funny to hear your frustrations on the stream. You're like, I don't know what to do now. But it's nice. It's nice to watch you to see what Clem does do, and like, oh, should I go or shouldn't I go? And when you asked, I wasn't going to say anything in the chat. I was like, that's not my decision, brother. Like, I wanted to see you make that decision, and I knew. I think I knew that. I think I was like, he's gonna go. But my worry was, like I said, I thought Yanni wasn't in prison. I didn't
That would
think
have.
he'd gone to Sisika. If you'd have turned up and he wasn't there, I'd have been like, shit, I saw that, and that would have been an amazing fucking story beat because I'm invested. I made a guess in my head. I'm starting to think ahead of what's going to happen next, and that's when you know the story's good. So yeah, it's definitely the way you guys push back against each other, but also pull each other along. You know, it's very very good.
So
Oh,
what I would add to that, I think genuinely, I agree with Duff, and what I would say is I think that you've carefully taken the time over the months to carefully curate a well orchestrated RP heavy group. Everyone can read the room. Everyone understands the cues, right? Everyone in their own right is an individual, not a side character, a background character. They all play a part in the cog that is the Lavelles, right? Especially while you're going through like a civil war currently, right? From my understanding, I haven't seen too much, but knowing some of the characters personally, I generally think you've created people, or curated a well organized group, and I think genuinely having the difference in schedules as well adds to the authenticity, right? So Clem being
Mm.
around early doors and then these guys being around in the evening. Clem wakes up every day, or SERUKKA wakes up, and there's content for him because he doesn't just. Clem will wake up, or SERUKKA will stream, he'll play, he'll create content for the people that are around, or there'll be content from the night before, okay? He'll play into that, he'll add to that, yes, and to the content,
Yep.
and then he'll
Yep.
go to sleep, and then the yes and is then rebutted to the other people in the night crew, and they continue on a continuation of that story, and then it just revolves around in a cycle, and Clem wakes back up, and then it's back to him. Yes, and Clem, what are you going to do on this? And to add to the story, so it's forever building, it's engaging, and that's the main thing, right? Is that you've got like to refer to the point you made about the guy who was doing the like like extorting people and the law and going around. I can't remember what you said his name was. The streamer that was heavy into like the one who kidnapped one of the Lavelles and such. He was heavily on that, but like once he was asleep, he was asleep. There was no continuation of that story because the other people that were with him at that time were probably playing law characters alongside him. Do you know what I mean? So there was no continuation on his story, but while he was live on that character, the story was engaging because people were all, no matter what it is, Red Dead or GTA, people want to see crime, right? But the beautiful thing about Ranch viewers is, and I told SERUKKA when he joined Ranch, and he only had a viewer or two, knowing his level of RP and his dedication to RP, like being a character alongside him on the GTA RP, where we were fully immersed and not everyone else was. I'd say 4% of that server were immersed, and 96% were just playing a computer game on a server in Discord chat. Knowing the attention to detail and that eventually his streams would reflect the level of his RP, and you're seeing right now is your viewership skyrocketed to a really good number because people are
regular numbers too.
Exactly, and the reason for that is because people are seeing the consistency and level of RP, and people on Ranch and viewers of Ranch actually want to see RP, which is such a rare thing. Like these days in roleplay, and I genuinely think you could go and play any server and you could maintain a modicum of those viewers genuinely because they know that how good of a role player you are. You look at examples of like Spaceboy, he could go and play on any server, whether it's Red Dead, GTA, whatever, DayZ, and he would have a modicum of viewers that would go with him because they know how good of a role player he is, and not necessarily like, oh, he's a streamer, and he has these viewers. You're a content man, right? Your content is your role play and your level of role play. So I generally think that's, people don't just watch just to watch Clem and the story. I just generally think they watch you because you are the creator behind those characters or that character, you know? So I think
I do agree.
not only is it
You
the
do
content
present
you
it well.
provide, yeah, exactly. It's the creator and the one who's curating it. So kudos to you, brother.
Thank you. And dear listeners, there's your cue to also go watch. But I do have
twitch.tv/Serukka.
I do have a lot to say about that, but at the risk of we'll save it for another podcast because I do have my own opinions. But let's just thank you for letting us pick your brain as a viewer. There's 2 more questions I want to ask you before we jump into community questions, though.
Go for it.
I know you are a very opinionated role player, which is a bad thing, but I know you have strong opinions. So I was wondering, like, to ask you a little cheeky question. What is an RP opinion you think most people would disagree in? Like a controversial opinion you hold about roleplay?
A controversial opinion that I hold about roleplay.
Mm-hmm. Something that you hold dear, something that you think is important, but others maybe neglect or something.
I gotta say, it's the immersion, really. Like, it's not hard to not break someone's immersion. Like, to break someone's immersion. Like, I see so many times, I've seen it when people are interacting with a streamer, and the streamer's talking to them, and they've got other people around. Say they're at a farm and they're going to collect some produce. And someone's sitting at the fire, minding their own business, and they're kind of talking. And she says, "Oh, don't mind me. I just got to be in my head for a moment." I'm just like, oh, like.
I knew you would say that one.
It drives me fucking insane because like this is your ranch, so you can excuse yourself and do any number of things. Excuse me, I've just got to go feed the chickens. Excuse me, I'm just going to go and check on my calf that's just been born, or I'm just going to go take a shit in this bush. Is more immersive than saying I'm going to be in my head. I don't think it's a controversial opinion, but it fucking drives me insane.
But because you said that, I started thinking about it and I started doing that too. Because you are right, like. It does break your immersion when people say that, like, "Oh, I got to be in my head" or whatever. It does help when people say, "Oh, I've got to go take a pee." It doesn't break the scene, and that's something I never really thought about before. But then once I started paying attention to it, you are 100% right on that one. Which brings me to my last question for you before we jump into community questions, which is roleplay has been around for a long time now, and server population is here and there taking a tumble, and roleplay is perhaps not what it used to be. Do you think there's a future for roleplay before GTA 6, or will it, like, slowly divulge into more script-heavy servers? Roleplay numbers are dwindling. Do you think there's still a future for pure, honest roleplay?
Absolutely. Back when I started in 2008, I would have been approaching 40, okay? And I was doing the GTA San Andreas multiplayer. And a lot of the kids that were playing were like, I would say that probably the youngest were around 15, 16, upwards to sort of maybe late teens, maybe early 20s. I was like the fucking old cunt. I've always been the old cunt of all the servers I go on. Although recently there's a lot more of my generation still role-playing, which adds to the point that I think all those guys that were role-playing back then are still role-playing now. And they're still looking for, I know for a fact, all of the guys I used to role-play with in Red County, shout out to you guys, 2009 to 2012, I guarantee you at least 50% of that population's active server will be role-playing in GTA 6. I guarantee it. Also, the girls in Red M, they love their ponies. They're not going to give them up. Not anytime soon. I think Red Dead roleplay is going to be around long after 5M's gone and everyone's moved to GTA 6. I still think we're going to be role-playing. DayZ as well has got a big roleplay community. people tend to not roleplay on actual dedicated community servers with plots now. People just tend to roleplay openly in the game, which is fucking amazing to see. People will play any sorts of character or any kind of aspect of their character and betray someone. You see a lot of good roleplay in DayZ, and it's very organic. It's not like you're set in this world and this person is the ruler. It's just like you're living in an apocalypse. You know, some people might talk that it's a game. Some people will just keep a character. So I think, yeah, roleplay is definitely not going anywhere. Also, with GTA 6 coming along, you've also got Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer, which has been development for a little while. And I don't know about you boys, but I really want to play some sort of really psychotic clown tune. I want to be on the streets dressed in clown makeup with like steroided muscles, pneumatic legs, so I can jump up to building, and I want to be an absolute lunatic eating people. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I spend my years.
This was going to be my follow-up question. It was like one last question from me was like, is there a game currently out that doesn't have roleplay already that you would wish did? And like, you know, that was my branch into like saying Cyberpunk is the prime example that originally was touted to have online multiplayer. But they scrapped it to basically fix the fucking game for a year, so it was playable for everyone.
And they did.
Yeah, and they did.
And then they dropped the fat DLC on us as well, and then a really good animated series, which the second season is starting very soon. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Shout out to CD Projekt Red, because I think that they prove themselves on their value.
Yeah, absolutely.
I genuinely hope and pray that Cyberpunk Chicago, or Illinois, whatever it's called, project. Can't remember, does have online, and hopefully, if not before then, because that might take 10 years before that's released, somebody takes it upon themselves to go and build an online server and make it fucking work a lot better and more fluid, in my opinion, than the Skyrim RP. If they're able to do that with Cyberpunk currently, that would be amazing. I've been looking into that on a weekly basis.
Subscribed to a Russian channel that has been developed by some Russian guys, and they have got damage sync, player sync, vehicle sync, customization sync. They've also got animation sync working so that when you look at someone else in third person, they don't look weird like they did look when they scrapped third person. They're very far along.
That's good.
I would expect it around the same time that GTA 6 roleplay kicks off. I reckon.
Yeah, well,
soon.
We'll keep an eye out on that for sure, because I think that would be fucking amazing. I was saying to SERUKKA on a previous podcast that the problem, the good thing about that is so many buildings are already open. There's no need for MLOs because they already exist. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But the addition of some MLOs could like really expand that game and really bring to life
have
people.
Up some really interesting parts of that map. There's parts of that map that were abandoned. You know. Yeah. There's so much scope for it,
and there's also so much free land for things to be added. A new city and new areas, right?
As someone who reps Nomad Clan, I know all about that desert. I've been out there.
Yeah, but there is another game on my first playthrough as well, actually. So you know,
I would love to see some multiplayer roleplay in going back to medieval stuff. I've really enjoyed Kingdom Come Deliverance. I didn't really get around to playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I played it a little bit and was like, their eyes look weird and Disney. I don't like it. Don't know what they fucking did to it, but it's a bit too polished. I don't know. I really prefer the grain of the first one, but I really would love it if they like just made a multiplayer mod for Kingdom Come Deliverance, so we could have some real, because the fighting in that is so immensely good.
Yeah,
and it's just that's another game that I would like, but probably never going to happen. But Cyberpunk will.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is definitely on the top of my list, I would say. I'm not sure about SERUKKA, but I imagine it's up there at least.
Yeah, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. It would be a roleplay dream as well. But Duff made it. Thank you for answering the questions. We'll jump into some community questions then that we can answer. There is 2 of them, I believe. Did we answer Mr. Jake Sue's one last time, Clusty? Do you remember? The MLO one?
No, I don't think so. I think that was after. We announced we were gonna do one, but I'll read it out. What do you think about servers charging money monthly for in-game items, MLOs, or PEDs?
I personally don't mind it. They gotta make money. They gotta run a server. It's fine. That's my short answer to it.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I've donated for recipes and other weird things, and I've donated just for the sake of donating, like without any benefits. I've just gifted money to communities before. I think one community I was playing, it was very I was like 10 active players, and they were really struggling to keep their TeamSpeak up. So I gave them a month's TeamSpeak, like just so that we could continue to play, because the 10 people we were having fun. So I don't have a problem with getting something out of giving something to the community if it keeps the server. It's not fucking cheap to run a TeamSpeak and a server, and then get all the scripts, and then pay the people who are actually working for you, because a lot of the staff are actually paid. So I have no problem with bought things. It can be done wrong. It can be implemented wrong. So as long as it's done right, I don't have a problem with it.
I think, in my opinion, right, I don't think if I had a PED that I wanted to import, I don't think me paying monthly for that PED to be imported that I've already paid money for separate from the server, I don't think me being charged monthly on top of potentially paying like a monthly subscription or ticket to enter that server is necessarily good, because I feel like,
maybe that's still
one-time payment to update my character and the clothing, right? And then if I want to add clothing to that PED, then charge me a fee, right? Maybe like a few fucking dollars or whatever to add. Now
I guess that's more 5M. Is that more 5M?
I think the question here is based on a specific server that I'm not going to name, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I mean, a subscription for like a house is kind of like rent. And I mean, it depends, right? If you have the option to do that through in-game money and time grinding for that money, then you can. But if you don't, and you still want a house for your character in their story, then it's an acceptable shortcut. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you're playing a mob boss, you don't want to be fucking logging out in an alleyway behind someone's house because you're actually fucking homeless. You actually want a house.
About that, but
to make it more immersive, yeah, I guess you could say. One thing I will say though is that I think servers offer the opportunity for specific gangs to become whitelisted, and then offer them the opportunity to have an MLO, right? And then, like, after they've offered them that opportunity, because it's part and parcel of having a whitelisted gang in quotations, then they go, oh well, if you want it, you're going to charge you monthly for it. Then it's like, as long as I think it would be acceptable if each individual member that is currently, like part of that crew that is foreseeably going to be in that crew is willing to put over, because they could charge whatever they want, just for, like they could just make up a number like $30 a month, right? Which doesn't sound like a lot, and it wouldn't be a lot if it was spread between 10 people. But then realistically, I know that there are specific servers that if you add a PED or gang clothing, for example, like, I don't know, street rollers clothing for a motorcycle gang that me and SERUKKA were a part of. Once you've added and had that added to the server, that server takes full control of that from that point forward. Like, while that might be your content that you've asked them to add, they will keep that as part of their server from that day forward, because which is, it's like, if you're paying monthly to have that in there, or you know what I mean, like, when you losing your right to that clothing and that name brand, you know what I mean? At that point, it's a bit weird.
It does sound exploitative, and in my opinion, if something sounds exploitative, it probably fucking is.
Yeah, and I think that's.
But if they're willing to pay it, then is it exploitative? At the end of the day, it's who's willing to pay it.
But it's like, because you want your guys to be immersed and to build the immersion based around your gang, is it them just taking advantage, like you said, exploitative, of the fact that they know that people want to have all their custom gear? So it's like, oh yeah, you can, but you're gonna pay us, because if you want it, you'll pay. Because if you don't want it, don't have it. They could ask
for a one-off, or they could not charge at all.
It's just, it's very.
They don't have to charge.
There are definitely servers out there that will take advantage of the small man.
Oh yeah. I've never been a platinum, diamond, gold subscriber to anyone. Like, I don't pay a monthly. Like, donate one off for something like, you know, like a recipe, or I'll buy a fucking script that can get added to the server so that, you know, I can then use it to make actual money in game.
Yeah.
But, you know, other than that, like, I don't really. Yeah, it is. If it's like I say, if it sounds exploitative, it is.
Right.
And
Let's
that does sound quite.
let's jump into the next question because we've got 2 heavily loaded questions yet remaining.
Yeah.
This one is from Alex. The question. So I'm just going to ask the question and then we'll dig into it. The question for RP streamers that want an interactive live chat. How do you deal with non-malicious gray area meta that inevitably comes from audience interaction? For comedy RP, it seems harmless enough, but what about when it comes to discussing puzzles, unraveling plot twists, and my personal favorite, sitting on the character's shoulders like little imps and angels whispering moral or immoral advice in their ear? Your chosen medium for storytelling offers unparalleled opportunity for audience participation, but your creed as a role player reserves organic, uncontaminated reaction. How do you strike the balance? Now, if you allow me to react to that one first, it is something I struggle with. Because, look, as a streamer, you obviously, I do this as a hobby and I do it because I want to share a story, but you also, if you stream, I think you have an entertainer in you and you want to entertain. So when the audience like expects something or wants to see something, you kind of want to give that. You kind of want to entertain that audience, but you got to be mindful of, does my character do this? So sometimes I'll like accept it if it's comedic. I'll like give it to the audience. But I have found myself in situations where I'm like thinking a certain thing, and then my eyes peer over to chat, and they have a different opinion. I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't think of that, or maybe, and then it's hard to put that out of your mind because it's in there now, right? So how organic is it still? It's something I struggle with massively, and I don't have the answer to it personally.
Do you know the one thing that I would like, and I was going to bring this up earlier, like while streamers are live, and this should be a way for them to, like a streamer to implement it as, while it is still meta, obviously it doesn't actually become meta until you say something, right? So technically, you could RP, like more streamers probably should do this, but like having voices, actual voices in your head and multiple personalities, and one of those is DUFF, one of them is Clusty, and one of them is whoever, like, do you know what I mean? And then you could potentially like voice those in your head, like people's thoughts, you could voice them in character but not out loud, you know, voice them to stream, like, so you're talking back to them. Whoa. Like, maybe you hollow your voice with an effect. Why did I not think of the da-da-da-da? Do you know what I mean? As a way to combat people's meta. I know it's a little bit more in depth, like to do as a streamer, but it's a way to
talk about this before internal monologue, right? For your character.
Yeah, exactly. An internal monologue for your character. You know what I mean? I
did that with one of my DayZ characters. He was a clown, and he was part of a carnival, and he was fucking batshit. And I used to speak to a teddy bear. There's a teddy bear item you can get in the game, and I started streaming for a bit, and I didn't do too bad. And a lot of people in chat would like suggest for things for me to do when I'm interacting with people, and I used to start using it as, you know, the voices, basically. And I'd pick the funniest fucking sounding thing that I thought would be the best idea out of what people would say, and I'd do it. And it encouraged people to throw ideas all the time. It was fun.
But that's then comedy RP, where it is pretty harmless, right? But when we're dealing with serious storyline plots, it gets into a grey area. You understand what I mean?
Comedy to an extent, until I end up killing the poor bastard I'm torturing, yeah. But I suppose comedy in a tent, but that's a fucked up character.
I do think there's a way around it, and then also like just tell people to shut the fuck up in chat. You know what I mean? Like, is it one way to just react to that? Yeah. Like, if you like
ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I know it's hard to sometimes ignore it, because especially as you want to level up as a streamer and not just a role player. Interacting with your audience is always one of the main priorities, right? To make sure that they're engaged with you, not just the story that's going on, but
acknowledging the chat message. Yeah, a lot of people read everything out. Some people will just answer it, you know.
Or just picking and choosing specific people at specific times to engage to. I think is a way around that kind of thing. But again, there are ideas that I could say. I'm always better at giving advice than doing, right? And you know, it's up to the people that I give advice to. But maybe there's a way around it where you can do the internal monologue to kind of, if in a serious scene something's happening, you could perhaps do something to utilize the messages that are being said, so you engage with the meta but you don't utilize the meta, you know, or use
But
it in, you know.
that is, I get what you're saying, but sometimes it's also very hard. Like, I can't bring up a specific example, but you'll be in the middle of a scene, right? You're saying the things your character is saying, and suddenly someone says something, and then you're like, oh fuck, I didn't think of that. But now you want to use it because you think, oh, it fits my character. But is that meta because you use it because that's something maybe you forgot in the moment, but technically your character remembers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
it's get very fast.
so basically,
As an active chatter, I do like to try and influence a streamer, and if they do what I say in the chat, it does make me go as a fan. So it is a good thing to allow occasionally without it disrupting what you know.
as long
Because some servers might not be cool with you allowing other people control over your character.
But I genuinely think that should, like, so again, like, as long as it's not information that's gathered from somewhere else that you're using, and it's something that your character, like, say for example, Clem ate a croissant in the morning the day before, and he had a really bad experience with it, and then someone reminds you that the next day on stream, don't forget you had a bad croissant from that restaurant, and then you use that to create a story. I don't think that's completely unfair to say that you've done that, because technically you as a character would remember that, and then you're using someone else's information to reopen something that you as a character should remember anyway. I don't think that's bad, but if the server think that's bad, then that's down to them. But I won't get into the mentality of micromanaging RP, which I think is terrible and should not be allowed in my personal experience. That's one thing I have a problem with a specific server. Micromanaging people's RP to the point of, like, is it even worth me actually playing, or do I just have to exist in your world, and abide by every little tiny version of what you think is good roleplay? That's kind of what we're here to do on this podcast, is to kind of open up the conversation of, we don't think we're the greatest at roleplay, but we're at least trying to expand our horizon and learn from other people that have experience within roleplay, and give our experience of roleplay and what our positive outlook and thoughts are on what we would think of as, like, things that are good for roleplay and necessarily bad for roleplay in the future of roleplay. So I think I'm done with that point. I'll move on back to Gleb. SERUKKA.
No, I think we gathered our thoughts on it, right? And it's just something to be mindful of, I suppose. But it's a tough one, and I do struggle with it.
You can definitely sometimes use it to your advantage. It's a pick and choose, I would say.
Also, just one last thing. You have to remember, there's massive fucking streamers that utilize the chat all the fucking time, and these are people that have been in the RP scene for 10, 12, 13, 14 years, since the inception of RP in Armor, so there are people who you can tip to get them to do something in the game. Oh yeah, like
they'll monetize their RP for you.
Jugs used to do it. Jugs used to do like he would have Tourette's, and people would donate $5, and then he'd swear at people randomly.
Brilliant. I respect it.
Yeah. So there's definitely ways, and then people would be like, these days it's like you would put out hits on people on your stream, like $5, and I'll kill anyone in kill anyone of my friend group, and then they'd just be constantly having, like, people donate to their streams while they sit there and GTA and kill each other. You know what I mean? Or bounty on people's heads within the city, but doing it through streams. So there's definitely ways to utilize it. But again, I don't know how Ranch reacts. I don't know how the admins would react to.
I don't think Ranch would be too happy with that.
Well, no, not that specific example, but like in general, like what you were asking.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Again, I think if you build enough trust within the admins, which I believe you probably have already, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, they peep SERUKKA a lot. They peep everyone. They always have.
But I don't think they used to, because he never used to get a mention. He never used to get anything. And I was like, this guy is probably one of, if not the best RPer on the server. Like, I'll blow smoke up his ass all day long because he's one of my good friends, you know. But
It
he's
take a lot to notice sometimes.
I mean, that's it. It does take a lot. But he did.
Even a diamond can get buried in a pile of shit.
Well, that's true. And, you know, pressure makes diamonds, and he is one. So, you know, diamond in the rough.
Well, thank you for that one. Let's go to the last community question then, because it's another doozy, really. So, a last minute question, he himself says, another one from Alex, by the way. How do you group communicate the desire to, in character, start a conflict? How do you resolve the conflict? And can you really put the toothpaste back in the tube once it's all over? And maybe the saddest question, which prompted me to write this, is there any way to accommodate group members who do not want civil war but are dragged into it? And I'll address it first. I think this boils down to trust. Right now, with the storyline for me that I can speak of, I am very fortunate that I can trust them as role players and do this. But I have noticed that some people are more inclined to do it than others. Like some people have even left the family because they do not really want to participate in that. But then I think it's on them to just say, I do not like this, I step aside. But that should be voiced OOC then, like just genuinely say, like, I'm not really a fan of this, I don't feel comfortable with this, let's not do this, and then the others can do it, and you just leave the person out of it. But then again, also, as a role player, I feel like you need to take things on the chin sometimes, and it's all just pixels, and, you know, just go with it, you know? That's my opinion on the matter.
I just would have dealt with it icy and gone with it. Like, I mean, I don't get the mentality of, I'm not going to enjoy this storyline out of character. Like, why not? It's a storyline.
Yeah, and it's roleplay, and you're on a fucking server to fucking roleplay. Stop being a wet wipe and get on with it.
If your character, it's like I said to SERUKKA the other day, he's like, I'm not sure how to feel about this, and I said, then feel conflicted.
Yeah,
that's a good advice.
You know,
but also
go with it. You just, I don't mind a bit of like, oh, how do you feel about this storyline? A bit of out of character, but I generally stray away from any kind of out of character arrangement for storylines. But then I've probably not been in a storyline as big as the one Clem's in at the moment, and that does probably require a little bit of DM tweaky here and there, just to make sure everyone's, you know.
So yeah,
I'll be honest with that.
I guess. Go on.
I was just going to say, I'll be honest with that. We do check up on another occasion, like, are you okay? Are you comfortable? Great scene. And then, you know, give the person the opportunity to at least air if they're like, okay, I didn't feel good about this. Then I haven't had that issue yet, but I do give people the opportunity. I'll DM them, like, great scene. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, give them the opportunity to at least tell me if they felt uncomfortable, you know.
Well, the question is, how did your group communicate the desire in character to start conflict? And I think, like, I can't speak, but I can, you know, I can hazard a very educated guess, is that they genuinely, if you have ever role-played in servers and you've been involved in conflict with another group, you always end up, 9 times out of 10, you'll end up with OOC issues, okay? And it's happened in Ranch. I know it's happened in Ranch with the Lavelles and other groups that I was a part of in that time. And there's always accusations that go backwards and forwards. You end up in a fucking Discord argument with admins, and they're trying to orchestrate like a meet in the middle and things like that. Now, having civil war within your own gang is a lot easier to do than having war with a group you don't normally roleplay with. And to reiterate SERUKKA's point, is that there is trust. And like I was saying earlier in the podcast, is that you've curated a group of people that understand reading the room. So they are able to bounce off of one another, whether it's in a positive or a negative light, but understand that the room is there to act, not to portray natural responses of themselves, but of their character and the way that they would react. I generally think it's easier to RP internal conflict because you know the people, you speak to the people outside of OOC, you speak to those people, you have good relations, maybe you play other games with those people, so you can navigate the story a lot easier when you daily interact with those people, you know, and you've built relationships that may go out of character, you know. So I generally think it's a lot easier to have conflict with people that you know well than not, because there will be conflict resolution from that, especially, which can build more story, right, moving forward. But also,
what you
go on.
You're saying is the best enemies are frenemies.
Exactly. The best enemies in RP are people you're friends with, because and generally, or you've built good relations with, I should say. Like Serukka can't sit there and say that he's RP'd with Papoosh for the last 8-9 months and say probably that he's not a bit of a friend of his, right? At this point, like he's spending every day or every other day or every whatever playing a game with this guy. Like you would probably say that they're probably friends at this point, right? And same for the most. I just use Papoosh as an example. Who's one who's probably still around and has been consistent, from my understanding. But the other part of this question is accommodating group members who don't want to be a part of the Civil War. There are ways to RP not being part of the Civil War that currently exist without you actually having to say anything. Like your character could just go. Like, could see that they didn't want to be involved. Like, you, OOC, could be like, oh, fuck this. I can't be bothered with this RP, right? Which is probably the reason they don't want to be part of it. They could literally just turn around and just adapt their personal feeling into character and just say, I'm going to go... I've just had a telegram from my aunt in Calder, and she wants me to go see her for a while. She said she's not feeling too good. And then you can RP getting stuck in Calder. You know what I mean? You get snowed in, and then you're there for like a couple weeks or whatever. You don't have to play the fucking game, or you can play the game.
Make a note.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a note. Go and do something else for a bit.
Exactly. Or go and play a different game, or just go and read a book and touch grass. Do whatever the fuck you want, and then come back in a couple of weeks when it's all done. And then you go, oh my God, what the hell happened here? What on earth escalated? Like what in the world has happened to the Lavelles? And then you've got story. So like, there's always ways to RP around it. You've just got to not be so invested that you hate what you're doing, because RP and playing a game is meant to be fun, regardless. Absolutely. So you should adapt your feelings. And do something that you want to enjoy. You don't have to necessarily leave the family either, just to be away from that RP. There are other alternatives that you could do. So just think about that when going into those scenes. And this is just not just for you guys, but this is for everyone that listens to this that's getting new into RP. Don't always take it as, oh, I can't be bothered with this. Just utilize that as a feeling and then see if there's another way around it to bring it into character, and maybe there's an alternative way. But I would always say yes, and just fucking go with it. You never know what's going to happen. That's my personal opinion on that.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know what's going to happen, and who you're going to meet, and what great fun you're going to have.
Exactly. Well, I think those are all the community questions. Do you want to showcase a clip real quick? We are running a bit over time here at Clusty, but maybe you got one that you really want to showcase and talk about?
I will show you
lower accurate 19th century archaeologist and Red Dead RP.
Oh, hello there. Hello there.
Drizzle or Runemaster?
How are you doing today?
I'm well, and yourself?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just conducting some archaeological research. Yes, I'm doing some systematic stratigraphy of these burials here to see if we can learn any sort of information about the cultural resources left behind.
Gotcha. It's illegal to dig graves, though, right?
Oh, they were talking about that, yes, but they said that I needed to have proper paperwork, or you'll find that I have a permit to conduct archaeology right here.
All right, let's take a look real quick. All right, this checks out.
All right.
All right, we'll leave you to it.
No, thank you all very much.
Well, you take care, friend.
All right, you all as well. Thank you very much. So my paperwork checks out, he says. My permit for archaeology. I'm glad he agrees.
Playing a lower accurate 19th century.
That's funny.
I just think it's a beautiful little clip of like people just going with the flow there. You know, everybody was just like, okay, let's just fucking go with it. You know, and it made it for a wonderful little scene, and I think it was wonderful. And I think everybody should strive for that sort of attitude. Just fucking go with it. You know. It's fun.
I can tell you just from personal experience. In Prodigy, we robbed a store. We had a document on our phone that was like an invoice for an electrical work on a store. We all had outfits on. We had the work van and everything. They literally read the document. It was like, what's your foreman's phone number? I'm like, bro, come on, bro. So then we got arrested, and then the lawyer, after he arrested us, my lawyer, which we opted to, was like, next time you do that, just use my number. Or like he's got another, like a second number, and he would pose as the foreman. But I was like, bro, like, so basically we've always got to do the job with 3 guys and have a 4th that's on the outside somewhere else doing something completely random that could pretend to be the foreman. But like the fact that they were pushing us even further to go to that level, it's like we can't even, like, they couldn't even just RP out like, all right, fair enough, right, on to the next. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of yes ands I got from Law on Woodridge actually was I would sell some of the moonshine that I bought, but I drink some of it as well. But a couple of times I got like fingered by Law, and they searched me, and I'm like, yeah, of course you can search me, officer. Like just wandering around, not trying to hide anything. They're like, why have you got 7 bottles of moonshine on you? I'm an alcoholic. Why do you think I've got 7 bottles of fucking moonshine? I'm drinking it. That's personal. And they're like, yeah, fair enough. Off you go. I did that like 3 times on Woodridge.
I mean, that works.
I was straight selling that shit.
Yeah. Like, I just wish, like, law enforcement is the one that I struggle with most, and I think SERUKKA probably could agree that there's, like, I've only had a handful of people that would actually RP with us, especially from law enforcement. In my experience, I struggled on Gold Rush. I think maybe Ranch was better, but still, you always find people that were just not necessarily yes and. They were more like, this is my job, and I'm not reading it like you're reading it. You know what I mean?
Do you know what used to piss me off about Gold Rush and Lawman was the fucking lasso. They used to do the hog tie thing straight away. They right click F people. I refused to carry a lasso when I was a fucking lawman in Gold Rush. I would make people put their fucking hands up, and I would handcuff them there and then with a gun pointed at them. I wouldn't chase no fucker. I'm not lassoing you.
I remember, I'll just say this before I play this clip. I remember in 2.0, we ended up in like an in-character meeting with, I think it's Stafford. I can't remember who he played. Virgil. He played Virgil, right? Was like the big sheriff, right? He was the head of fucking the sheriffs, right? I can't remember what they would call his actual title, whatever. But Virgil had a meeting with all the gangs, right? And I was the leader of the Desperados, and he was like, kind of going through like the politics of like crime and law, right, in character. And I was like, just tell your fucking deputies to stop fucking throwing lassos after 30 seconds of a chase, because it's fucking pointless. And if you don't stop fucking doing it, you're going to get blasted every time. And then all we're going to get is complaints from the lawmen that they're being shot down 30 seconds into a chase. And the reason for that is that none of us want to deal with just constantly being lassoed. And he literally couldn't understand my perspective or my point of view. And he started like talking, like actually talking down to me, like in front of everyone. Like, and we're talking like, KGU was in there, Jugs was in there. And these people had like 4,000 or 5,000 viewers at the time. And he was talking down to me to the point I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? You're telling me that you're going to allow your sheriffs to just carry on doing that and then wonder why they're getting shot all the time and complaining in the Discord about it, right? There's no RP around it. Well, is there any RP in you lassoing someone after 30 seconds? Where's the chase? There's no chase. There's no give and take. And that was a massive problem in 2.0. You know, and
it was too episodic. Like everything was scene by scene. It was like, right, you've robbed the bank, so now I've got to catch you and send you to jail. Okay, that's over. Next.
And it was always
like
ongoing.
It's just episodic, and there's no story.
The one thing I love about Ranch is they implore people to shoot and miss. There's none of that. There was none of that in 2.0 Gold Rush. It was like, aim for the head, you're dead. You know what I mean? It was like, there was no long, elongated scenes. It was, If it was war, it's who can kill each other first, who's down, and then it was like a scene out of Call of Duty, fucking Warzone. It's like 2 men on the top, northeast, northwest, whatever. Do you know what I mean? 301, 103, 102, 10. Do you know what I mean? Giving out like directional comms and compass comms. It was like, oh, bro, like what the fuck am I listening to? But yeah, that's just one complaint of mine about like maybe it's not the state of RP sometimes, but.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of that.
Cops in general. But we have a clip here. Sarukka, you want to say something on that matter before we play the clip here?
Well, it ties nicely into the conversation. So just play it, tell us when it's done, and I'll tell you why.
What the hell you did?
Can you hear it? I am streaming it right now.
Stop hitting her with the bat! Stop hitting her with the bat! You's under arrest! Put your hands up right now! Don't you do that! Come here! I'm not... Oh shit. Oh shit. One suspect. They're gonna be away. Show me back tonight. I'm in that 80 with that motorcycle that just robbed the store. We're going south on Alta Street right now. He's 50 off the bike. He's 50 off the bike. We'll be in a 1070. Foot pursuit. Foot pursuit. Get back here, you scumbag! You's under arrest. You's. Suspect's gonna be visual loss on the suspect. We're code 4.
You lose him already.
Stop running, sir! You's under arrest. Get your ass back here. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're? Oh. Oh hell no. It won't be VCB on that suspect on foot as well again. These guys are quick today, let me tell you.
Gary, everything all right, buddy? I mean, this is like the 6th person that you've lost on foot today. Is everything okay?
Everybody's just Usain Bolt today, boss. I don't know what the hell's going on. Excuse me, ma'am. What the hell you did?
Well, I think it ties nicely into our conversation. Well, I understand, like, that law also wants to, you know, occasionally catch a bad guy, and they also want story, and they also want to have fun. I do think law needs to understand that in a lot of scenarios, you're the support character, and like there, he was willing to take the L and just kind of let him have it, and he was having fun with it. And I'm not saying they should do this at all times, but it's something I think law needs to understand, that oftentimes they kind of have to hold back a little bit to further everybody's enjoyment, you know. Not too much, obviously, but
the bad guys always get away, and you'll get them next time. Like, because you're the good guys, you always win because you're the good guys. You'll just get them next time.
I'm always one to believe that whenever there's a scene of like more than one person, say there's a group of us that we robbed, like the store that's right near here, Sarukka. When we robbed it, no, the one we did, the one in Saint Denis. Like, I'm always happy to be a sacrificial lamb for law to get RP out of a robbery. I think it's give and take, right? If 3 of the 4 people get out with the loot, that's good for them and it's good for their RP. But also for one person to get caught up in the chase or what have you, which I think is a good thing as well. Me hiding in the bush and you ran straight through it and they just fell over me was story in itself, and it was iconic scenery. But the fact that then I'm like, oh, now I'm on a foot chase with like 6 cops or 5 cops, and they're all just chasing me now. Like, you know, it makes for a fun experience for them, for me, and then I can build, because I'm the kind of guy that will go, okay, I'll go to jail, and that'll build my character's deeper roots. I can build on deeper roots with the character going to jail, and I can move on from that, and I can build from that, and then us succeeding also allows the Lavelles to continue a story of the crime arc and starting doing robberies and stuff like that. So I think in RP it's all give and take, and understanding that you might be your main character, but you may be a side character in someone else's story. I think that's just my philosophy.
Yep.
Everyone's their own main character, but understanding that you are
I think
someone else.
I think another thing that law should like really do is like if you just want to stand on a porch, then run and catch someone with a lasso in like the first minute, then book them and ship them, and you're just going to do that repeatedly, it's pretty fucking boring. Like, wouldn't you like to have this elusive nemesis that keeps getting away? You catch a few of them, and you get a few more clues about the leader's whereabouts and where their camp is, and you draw it out. Like, make your day job interesting, because I guarantee you your actual day job isn't. You know?
See, that's
So
what I always thought. I agree totally. I think I've never played a lore character, but if I was to play a lore character, I would be like a Sherlock fucking Holmes, like in terms of like just like, oh, they did this crime, and I'd do my own private investigations away, like to fulfill my day. That I wouldn't just be like, I'm just gonna go stand on the porch and see what happens today. And I would maybe engage in like if someone else was interested in following that story with me and go, all right, we're gonna go and have a look at the scene from yesterday and look over some of the evidence that we received from that place, and then maybe we can take a trip out west or whatever, like any signs that kind of led to those areas, and kind of do some actual investigation work. Because I feel like that is what a lot of lore don't actually do, especially in like Red M. There's no sort of real investigation as to what the fuck happened after the fact that it happened, really, even though you're leaving scenes with very blatant evidence, you know.
Yeah, I left my literal name on this character twice. It took me.
Yeah, as someone who has been lore on ranch and actually done actual detective work off my own back and taken photos of detailed of everything and made proper reports, I did see a lot of lazy people just can't be fucked with it. They can't.
There's some details or the law?
With the details, filling it all in, they're like, oh, I didn't see that. I'll let someone else deal with it. Unless there's an assistant round, they can do it for them. They won't do it. That's how it was back in October, anyway. That's when I quit law in ranch. I was like, but I know that Wolfie pushed a lot of the detective agency and stuff, but he got shut down internally from the corrupt officials above. But you know, that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like, I'm glad there are people like Wolfie and yourself that take it upon themselves to actually think outside the box of just being someone that wakes up and being there as a pawn for criminals to go and do crime, right? Because like one thing that law don't do in GTA and in Ranch for the most often, they think they're there to exist so that crime can happen, but there is more to life than just being that. And I know a lot of servers shut down role players that were law to have like a personal life and things, right? Like you couldn't just not be on duty. Like, you know, you got prio because you're a lawman, so you have to be law. You know what I mean? So a lot of lawmen didn't ever wake up outside of their time that they were allotted to, actually, because they wouldn't have prio or whatever, to actually go and live a life. But you're a character. You have a life. You should live a life outside of that, and maybe that includes investigation work, or relationships, or maybe you get fucking turned over by and be somewhat corrupt, or maybe you end up, I don't know, like going undercover investigations, you know what I mean? Like, and then you end up in a gang, and then you switch sides. Like, you can make so many compelling stories as a lawman, I think, but it's just not utilized to the full effect, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of the time. Okay, SERUKKA, anything else, mate?
No. Just like to thank Duff for tuning in here and sharing his opinions. So thank you, Duff.
Yeah,
thank you very much for having me, fellas. I've enjoyed it.
I appreciate you spending. This has been the longest podcast currently, I believe, at 1 hour and 48 minutes. So yeah, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Duff, if you have any handles that you'd like to give out, feel free. If not, then no worries.
Oh no, I'll remain elusive for now.
The elusive Duff. We appreciate you for tuning in. Everyone that listens, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube. It is youtube.com/ @ClustyYT. Head over to SERUKKA's channel. It is twitch.tv / SERUKKA2, I believe. Right? Have we got that right?
Yep.
And head over to his TikTok. He'll have all the links and everything will be in the description below. So please make sure you go over and show some love. If you'd like to join the Green Room podcast, the Discord. The link will be in the description as well. So please feel free to come over there and you can get an insight into everything that we have kind of discussed, the questions, the videos. SERUKKA is daily uploading a stream summary and everything from his RP experience currently in Ranch RP. He uploads clips daily and such, and at some point I will be doing so again, but currently not. But anyway, appreciate your time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Appreciate you, SERUKKA. I appreciate you, DUFF, and we will see you in the next episode.
My headphones die right at the end there.